Hi,
Okay.
everybody.
Hey, we're
Hi,
live.
everyone. Thank you for
There it is.
coming to our first live of Dragonfly
Woo!
Crystal Show. Woo!
And mine just popped up too, so there we go.
We're in the first of a series of the Keys of the Universe. And
Ooh.
I'm so happy to have Scott Allen, Spiritual Essence, on, and Heather of Chrysalis, Indigo Chrysalis Tarot. Love you guys. So happy to have you on.
Woo.
And we're going to cover spiritual connections and discussions of that nature. And hopefully we'll go over things that will help us to cope and live our best lives here on the earth plane. And we'll do some
Sounds
meaningful
good to
growth
me.
as well. So, yeah, looking forward to this. Um, and we actually have Sharon here. Hi,
Hey,
Sharon.
Sharon.
We have one person.
She
Um,
supports everybody. She's amazing.
oh, she is great. Absolutely.
I don't know. I have,
Well, I,
it shows 3 right now, but
3.
one could be my phone. I don't know.
And there's Debbie. Hi, Debbie.
Any boost we can
You are
get.
new
Oh,
to
hi,
me.
Debbie K.
Oh,
Hey,
there's
Debbie.
Debbie. All right, we're getting them now.
I know there's several other
Well, it's
live
nice to have
shows, so
someone
people
here.
might come back in and out. Yeah.
Hey, a newbie here.
I must have missed the memo too. Scott and Val wearing red, and I came with a
I,
sword of red. Well, I got some red. There we go.
Yeah, Flower.
I'm wearing my Harry Potter Hogwarts.
There you go. Sharon, I got some red here too, so
Just you
that's
don't
my
be
red.
mad at me. Man. Engineering. I got a free shirt.
Oh,
I was
Yeah,
not in engineering. I didn't go to college, but I got a free shirt.
I was
that's
wondering when I
awesome.
saw that
It
on
looks good.
you the other night.
It looks good. Well, we do have some great topics to cover and things that I think will be fun to discuss. We'll more share our ideas about it. That would be a better way to put it. But the first thing that I wanted to ask all of you is, do we ourselves design our divine plan before we incarnate? Is it us? Do we plan
Mm.
what we're
Oh,
going to do?
definitely. Oh, definitely.
I think some of it. Oh, go ahead, Scott.
Oh, sorry. So when when we're listening to others and listening to my own channelings and connecting to source, I believe it's all true, with our soul contracts and what we go through. It's like visually, I see like we go into this realm after we pass, but it's not heaven. Heaven's a higher love vibrational realm. And we get in this area where we're loved, but we have to see every single thing we've done in our lives, who we may have hurt, even if we made a rude comment as a kid. We'll see what we've done and how that other person feels. And everything we've done, we see it, we evolve it, we take it in, we feel that energy. And once we've learned everything, and then there's this creator source, God, however you want to say it. And then we just go, whoop, we go accepted once we've sensed and felt everything. You it's like even if you teased another child in 5th grade because he wore the wrong outfit, you'll feel it, how you've
Yeah.
made the other person feel.
So
And
that's going to
hopefully we will evolve and treat someone differently in this life. I mean, I've even, since getting all these revelations, I even thought back to myself of like how I made fun of someone in 5th grade, because they may have had a weird slit, what do you call it, when they speak, a slur or whatever, you know.
Right.
And I think to myself now of having this love sense of heaven's realm, I'm like, God, I was mean, you know, and it was innocent back then as a
You
kid,
were
but
breathing. Right.
so every time I think about that, and now I'm like, I put that energy out there, you know, whether that person's alive or whatever, I don't know, but I'm like, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. That's crude, you know. But as we get older, hopefully, you know, you're like, you treat people better. And that's our whole
Evolve.
existence evolve, right? You know, our whole existence here is, you know, being love and light and weather, whatever. But I was thinking back to my yeah, list, Debbie, yeah, whatever it was. I remember in high school I changed. I remember I friended some of the oddest people my senior year. I remember this one guy, he was a preemie, his mother was doing drugs.
Mm.
Really nice guy, but he had this guy, I don't even know if he's alive or whatever. I haven't seen him in 30 years or whatever, but he had he had these shakes. He was a really nice guy, you know, but he would, you know, shake all the time because of his influences as a child or being in the womb because his mother was doing drugs constantly when she was pregnant.
Yeah.
But he was a really nice guy. And I went to different parties and hung out with him when I could, whatever, you know, but everyone thought he was a weird and different or, you know, could be a druggie, whatever. Well, he wasn't a druggie. He was just a nice guy, but he had issues he couldn't take care of because of what his mom did.
Yeah, tremors, uncontrollable tremors. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you call that? He had like Tourette's kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, but
Yeah.
I friended that guy, you know, and many didn't.
Yeah,
You
that
know,
was great.
I evolved a little bit in that young stage.
Made up for before by a long margin by doing that.
And then I remember it wasn't that long ago. I haven't seen this guy I knew in high school. He's in my class.
Mhm.
And I was making a delivery at work. And he works for a similar company near me that delivers meat and other products. We were at the store at the same time and I'm delivering. I'm like, oh my God, Kenny, is that you? And we had a nice little chat. And I'm like, oh my God, it's been forever, da da da. And he was kind of shunned as a kid because he was born basically deaf. So you had to have, you know, ear
Implant, the cochlear implant
yeah,
or something.
cochlear implants and whatnot. So he would speak a little differently. So everyone kind of shunned him a little bit, or there wasn't really friends. And
Yeah.
I was always nice to him, you know, in high school and whatnot. Nice guy. And, you know, here to come to find out he's been working for the same company for 20 plus years. You know, I'm like, hey, it's great to see you, Kenny, you know, and it was just kind of neat. I'm like, oh my God, you know, we delivered to the same place.
To look back at it now. So yeah, that was cool. So Heather, before we incarnate, are we ourselves designing our divine plan, or do we sit around with a group of angels or celestial beings and do it?
You
Or
know, that's something that's always been hard for me to answer. And that concept, came around for me when I was living in Arizona because I was living in Flagstaff, Sedona, very spiritual towns and different ways of thinking and spiritual beliefs. And I think to a degree we do, but I feel like there are times when there are circumstances, um, individuals' choices. Because I hear a lot about this free will, and that makes it a little difficult for me because it may not have necessarily been decided. Let's say I had a cousin. She was 16 years old. She had her whole life ahead of her. She was in high school, culinary high school. She wanted to be a culinary chef. And one day she got hit and killed by a reckless driver.
Oh.
And so I lost her at 16. And when I think of her, what happened to her, and other people's stories, and like my friend Amanda, her mother had a seizure while smoking, and pretty much like Anne Hesh, she caught fire and she burned all over her body. She went into a coma and passed away there. So when I sometimes hear people not throwing things around, some like to throw it around without real, there's a way to present a subject or an idea, and there's a way not to. And I've experienced both the positive and the negative ways of presenting that question. And I have a hard time wrapping my head around that concept when it comes to things like my cousin, Amanda's mom, these young children like Sandy Hook, and what happened to my hometown, back in May. And for me, it's like, it almost feels like, yes, we do have a contract when we come in for lessons that we need to learn and people we want in our lives. And because we have, quote unquote, free will to a degree, somebody's free will I feel like can affect somebody else's free will and may help change course of things that, that you had planned. So for me, I'm kind of still on the fence 50-50. I think it's like a little bit of both, definitely, you know, choosing what life you're going to come into and the people who are going to be your parents, your family, um, people that you meet to teach you lessons and things like that. Yes. But when it comes to really severe, tragic, and awful ways of passing, or disabilities, like my brother, he was born um, with kidneys that didn't work. And he had to have special schooling, and he had gotten made fun of as well because he had all the pop marks and everything on his arms from all the needles and having to go into dialysis every day for his whole life. And having, a leg that wasn't fully developed, and walking funny. And of course, then me, getting bullied and everything. Sometimes I look back and it's just like, wow, really? I had to.
Through that.
So sometimes for me, it's and like I have a grandniece who was born with spina bifida, and all the operations and procedures she had to have before she was even a year or 2 years old. They didn't think she was going to live because, especially with her condition of spina bifida. But here she just celebrated her 21st or 22nd birthday in July. And she's, a mentality of, like a 6 or 7 year old, but she doesn't really notice, or to her, that's her normal. So sometimes it's like I said, it's hard for me to, I really can't say a definitive yes or no, because if you say yes, then, in a way, do we really have free will then when we come to Earth?
That's another question. Do we have free will?
Because someone's free will can affect whether or not we get to play out our chosen blueprint.
True, some of those things, I think some of those things are kind of open-ended, that you can inflict certain things on someone else, and but
so
they
if we
say
have free will. What? You want to say hi?
They say that guardian angels are here to keep us on Earth. If we're in a situation where something's life-threatening, that they help keep us here when it's not our time to pass. But
and I've heard those stories, and I'm like, well, why couldn't you have been there for my cousin?
Well, then there's the thought that there are greater lessons for the world that we can't really envision when we suffer the pain here. I'm going, like when my 36-year-old son died, I thought, yeah, that didn't go over well with me. But
I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
in the in the big scheme of things, what I'm really trying to say is it possible that there are lessons for the world over groups like Sandy Hook, and so that we step back and go, this isn't right. We need to do something with the guns, or when certain people cross early, what we think is early, is it a lesson for family members, or we don't know. I mean, we don't know any of this. We're just speculating, really, right?
Yeah,
But,
my cousin would have been 51 on August 9th. She was a Leo.
Yeah, it's all speculation, but we need to just go with the theory that we chose to do this.
right.
There is no really grand explanation except your cousin or whoever decided, well, I need to learn how to be handicapped,
Right.
to understand how that was. And then we have all these souls like yourself, Heather, that are affected by. We have lessons to learn too, to show compassion for these people, those souls.
Right.
Yeah,
So I think it's
very
an
many.
all lesson, and these poor little children that have passed, from Evolve or whatever. There's a collective reason for that though too. They all went up in love and light, and accepted, and they're innocent souls. They're just children, right? But they went up as a collective to make change. That's what I sense.
I get the chill.
And what just happened? They passed something in the Senate and House for change, for gun safety, right?
Yeah.
They left for a collective reason. And I don't sense any anger, stress. Their contract is a pass for change, and they're accepted immediately, and they're ready to come back.
That's certainly a more
And
comfortable
kind of the same thing in Ukraine,
Right.
what's going on.
Yeah. Right.
These unfortunate souls that are passing from this horrible war from that evil human being.
Right.
They're passing for a change, collective change.
Yeah. And what happened to us in Buffalo, I found out from, I have a grandniece and a grandnephew who go to school about 2 blocks from down where the Buffalo shooting happened. And he was supposed to go to that school next. And I'm thinking, and I tried not to think, but when I do see the pictures of those who he took their lives at Tops at the supermarket, I actually thank them, because their passing first kept him from going and taking the lives of my niece and nephew. So I try to honor and remember them for, I mean, it's hard, when, people say, well, it's God's will, it's this and that. Sometimes that just, it feels so empty and hollow, and, things happen for a reason. If something or someone's going to say something like that, I just need to feel or have some sort of insight where I can understand that, to be able to process that. And sometimes it's hard for me.
There.
It is hard.
Yeah.
It was hard. It's hard.
To get there. Another thing I read, and I totally agree on, it's like a 9/11 when the planes were going to hit. Every single person was given a choice. They were shown signs, that this was going to happen. And they were given a choice to pass or survive. You have your crossroads in life. You have multiple paths. Those who didn't see the signs
Stayed
and
home from work that day.
went to work, as usual, pushed through traffic or whatever, or the signs of the kids, being upset that morning, whatever the case may be. Or, instead of, going back and getting your cell phone that you may have forgot that morning, and they say, I'll get it later, and went straight to work, they ended up passing, right?
Right.
If they would have just said, oh, I got to do this, take care of the kids, I'll just go to work late. Those are the ones that made it, right?
Yeah, but they had no concept though. I mean, there was no. I mean, they need. I see. That's where I kind of like, because it's like, well, I forgot the cell phone. I'll go get back a bit later. Work's important. I have. I don't know, Scott. I'm just having a hard time wrapping my head. I mean, how could they have seen that as a sign? That's kind of like, I think, what I'm getting at.
I mean,
it's not really.
You don't see it as a sign. We don't know. But I read stories about someone decided, well, I'm just going to go get donuts and coffee for my workmates. Since they went and got coffee and donuts, they weren't involved because they were seeing it happen as they were coming, per se. It's like every little thing, if you just use your instincts, you can change your destiny. In a way, you have multiple path destinations you can take. I had a friend the weekend before I got married, that I had my children with, that my wife there, or 2 weeks before. I was going to have my bachelor party, and I had a really good friend that was going to go with me. And that Friday night, he gave me a call and said, hey, you want to meet me out? We're partying, da, da. And I decided, no, I'm going to stay home. I got a big day tomorrow. I told him to get home early, da, da. And he wanted me to meet him out. Well, my friend ended up getting in a car accident and dying.
Oh. Oh, wow.
Really? And for a long time, I had the thought of, what if I would have went out?
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't have been on that road at that time because I would have influenced it, or gave him common sense. Oh, we better not go after bar time to this bar or whatever,
Right. It's
and
just.
What are the odds of him finding the biggest tree on that highway and going off the road?
It's pretty. It's like H. Yeah. It's.
And the guy that was with him in the passenger seat survived, and my friend that was driving didn't.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So we always have a choice. If my buddy would have just stayed home and then enjoyed
we do have a choice.
The bachelor party.
Yeah.
He'd be alive today probably.
Yeah.
But he made this choice in his path to pass that night, So
right.
We just never know.
And then you run the risk of feeling like, well, maybe if I went with him, we would have
gone
down a different road. And that's one of those mental loops that is so hard not to fall in, because I've been down those two myself. With situations can be very scary.
Yeah.
Oh.
And Christina just said that she was actually in the Trade Center building the first time.
That's right.
In 93.
Wow. That is wow. Oh.
That just gave me shivers when I saw it.
That gave me the chills. Well, changing subjects to something that I'm curious about. If you hear the veil is thinning between the densities or the dimensions, and since everything's here now, and the only thing separating us are supposedly just our frequency, what we resonate at, and if we're my question is, if the veil is thinning more and more, will we be able to see beings from other densities or dimensions just showing up in our space? How would that look? If
Well, I have a great story from yesterday. I already shared it with
Okay,
Scott.
go for it.
There have been, I've been watching, videos on Discovery, and there are people who are actually able to close their eyes and with a loving heart ask to have an extraterrestrial spirit make their presence known to them in a way that's safe and non-frightening for the individual so that they can show respect and to be able to to see and connect and to understand. And so I was at the park yesterday, at this one park, and I was sitting there. The sky where I could see through the tree because we were under a really big tree was just completely blue. There was no clouds or nothing. And so I just went ahead and said, I think I'm going to give this a try. I'm feeling like this is a good day to try. And I closed my eyes and I put out lovingly that if possible, and some of them are called Ibanis now. They're phenomena to beautiful lights and things in the sky that appear, and some people can call them to them, and they're just absolutely gorgeous. So I kept my mind open, whether it was, in the form of a shimmering light, an actual craft, whatever, with a loving heart. I put that out there and made sure that it was only an ET or entity from of love and light, because we have both. We have the dark and the light. And so I opened my eyes and I said, okay, I put that out there. There was nothing in the sky. So I just started working on my art project. And a few minutes later, I felt the urge to look up. And there's this tiny little cloud that appeared, was just right there. And as I'm going, well, that's curious. And somebody just kept saying, just keep watching it. And as I watched it, the cloud shifted shape, turned saucer shape and shape. It was still a cloud. It was an actual ship, but it turned saucer shape. And then it started thinning out. And I just kept my eyes on that. And I'm like, you're going to completely disappear on me now, aren't you? And just like that, right, just boom, just disappeared.
Wow,
And the
just
sky
give
was
me the
pure
chills.
blue.
Wow,
And I
that
was
was
like,
fantastic.
wow, I can't wait to share that one with Scott.
That is a good
even
one.
though it wasn't a craft,
So, but you
it was
managed
still, I think, them starting to show me, like, we heard you.
Yeah,
We know it was from respect. And here's a little glimpse.
Yep, there it is. That's it. You communicated, you connected, and they came.
Yep.
Awesome. That is just so cool.
That was cool.
That is cool. I haven't had any of those kind of experiences yet because I haven't really asked for them. How about you, Scott?
About what? I'm sorry. I'm responding to folks while you guys are talking.
And thank goodness you're doing the duties because I'm supposed to be doing it. And I see some great people in the chat that have subscribed and they're saying hi to me, like Nancy. Nancy says hi. And oh, it went too far. Where's my?
Well, Nancy's grandson was born on September 11th. Wow.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Well, I'm sorry, I got distracted with commenting, but
yeah, but the comment.
The question was
basically, have you seen a UFO?
No, actually, the question really was: the veil is thinning.
Oh, the veil thinning.
What will it look like when? Will we be seeing other beings from other densities, dimensions, showing up in our space? Like, you'll be sitting in your bedroom or your living room, and all of a sudden, you'll see light beings, or you'll see some orbs, or something show up. Maybe your loved ones.
I'm getting no.
No.
Not for all. The veil. What I sense is that the veil is thinning. Is that making connections of more people being more spiritually intact?
Right.
It's more that people not getting. It's getting the collective people more and more, one person at a time, to be compassionate for other people. Mm-hmm. It's not that we're going to see more entities. It's not that we're going to see more extraterrestrials. I mean, like Heather did, you can create that by making sure you're in love and light and asking for a sign. Yes, that will happen. But I don't think I don't sense it's like we're all going to start seeing ghosts all the time.
Mm.
You know,
It seems like more
certain,
people are believing of it though, and coming
you're
forward
right.
with their experience.
Certain people, I'm getting like certain people will, but it's more of a collective people of being more compassionate to others. That's the veil. You know,
So
the
my
veil of love,
mm,
right?
so
That's what
my next question folds into this nicely, because I'm asking, is it as simple as raising our vibration or switching frequencies like a radio station to be able to see into those other densities or dimensions, such as the fifth dimension? Is everything a frequency and a vibration, and we're just at one level? And if we raise our vibration up, we're going to see our guides, we're going to see beings in the fifth dimension, or hopefully not the astral, that's the fourth. But we'll skip that and go right to fifth.
Well, I wish I could remember my astral. Like
I can't
I
remember
tell
astral.
Heather, I astral travel constantly. I don't remember it, right?
And there's
But
some people that can just go right into it, and they can go here and have fun.
Yeah, they
They
can do the
this
remote
and that.
viewing.
And I want to be able to do that, but at the same
Yeah.
time, it's like watch what you wish for.
Well,
And
my
I think it
body,
might be.
I can't get myself to leave my body. It's like,
I mean, I'll have dreams where I'll be dreaming and I'll be at a place and I'm like, okay, and in my dream I'm like, okay, I need to look for a street name or something that when I wake up I can,
cool.
tell where I'm at. But a lot of times the problem is in when I'm doing that, signs or roads and things, the letters will be. It's like I have dyslexia. Everything's all
Yeah.
jumbled. I can't read anything.
Yeah. Isn't that funny?
And sometimes if there is a word, sometimes I can remember it. Sometimes I can't.
Yeah.
And it gets frustrating sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll be like, oh wow,
You
no, and
want to
I'm looking,
validate it at the other end.
yeah.
So, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I wish that can get better. And when I do go to bed at night, and I ask protection from Saint Michael.
Mhm.
I ask him to keep me safe and protected in my home and my family and my kitties. I ask Mother Mary to bless me with an understanding, compassion heart of what I see when I am dreaming, where I'm out. And my
That's
great grandma
beautiful.
Ava, who I feel now is has been a very strong spirit guide. I'm like, please help me to remember my dreams more, even if it's just this one word or two phrases that I can bring back with me when I wake up. And so sometimes I have good dreams at night where I can do that, and other times it's still, and it gets frustrating. So,
Well,
I'm hoping that can
I think
improve as
that's
I get older.
beautiful. Yeah. I think that's a beautiful way to ask to remember the dreams. And I think the ones that you're remembering are meant for you to remember. It's something important. So that's really cool. I mean, I think we do so much work in the astral that we're exhausted when we wake up. And maybe we just don't have to remember everything. We'd probably be even more tired.
And I do have medication that I take at night because I do have bipolar, and I have anxiety and PTSD. I'm on a few other things, and so there's one medication I take that helps me sleep at night. People have says it does affect sleep. I mean, your dreams. So some people say, well, it's usually not really good. It kind of makes it harder to remember things. But then I have another friend who's a psychic medium that I talk to every now and then. And she says for some people, that actually helps kick open your third eye, that medication. And it's called
True,
Seroquel.
probably. Yeah.
And so now I'm kind of stuck in the middle because I get so much thrown at me at night that by the time I wake up, it's a goop. So that's why I try to, when I wake up in the morning, how much of this goop can I kind of reconstitute? So at least I can bring back one image or one message, that I would need for the next day for my
Awesome,
for raising up my level and my abilities.
That's cool, though, actually. Yeah.
I think everything is just about raising our vibrations. We can connect more when we stay happy.
True.
Everything. is about
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
Many people have talked
It
about,
can be boiled down to that, can't it? I mean,
everyone has talked about, you listen to near death experiences of people that have shared, when you get to heaven's realm, it's pure. Everything's
yeah,
beautiful. Everything's like, I want to go back home, you know?
right, right.
And being a human soul on this planet, if we can stay in that loving environment, it connects us better. We don't get upset if someone pisses us off, or we don't get upset when our spouse or boyfriend wants to fight, girlfriend, whatever it is. You just step back and be like, okay, instead of fighting, how can we work this out? You stay in a higher vibration, our
Yeah,
lives go better. You know,
that's
we don't
very,
get pissed off, our vibrations are higher, and everything goes smoother. You know what I mean?
so that kind of leads into the fact that your thoughts create your reality, or the energy you put
Yeah.
out creates your reality. So, how quickly are things manifesting now? Whether you're putting out the negative energy or you're putting out positive energy, I mean, do we have to be super careful and vigilant? Because is it speeding up? Are we manifesting faster? What do you think?
Well, I had when I left to Arizona, I was in a group think with my classmates in our Reiki classes
Mhm.
that we do that. And if things start to fall apart around us, we're not trying hard enough. We're not giving enough. We're not loving enough. And if things are falling apart around you, it's your fault because you're
Uh,
putting out. So for me, that can be a very I can't think of the word I would like to use, but it's very acidic. It's those comments aren't really coming from a place of love because
mm,
they would realize that there are things that happen to us that are out of our control.
mm,
And after I had left and things did fall apart, and having to come back to New York after leaving New Hampshire, and discovering I had a mental health diagnosis, especially when I did attempt suicide. I didn't know all these things that were going on around me. I was trying to reach out to those people that I was still connected to in Arizona from that group, those classes, and their response to me was, it was my fault. I wasn't connecting with the symbols of Reiki. I wasn't, you know, um, properly doing my positivity. And that tore me down more and destroyed what little I had love and connection to that healing back then. Because, later on, it's like, you know what? No, it wasn't my fault. That's what I love about this community and how supportive everybody is because I'm meeting people now who are like, that's a bunch of, spiritual bullshit. Excuse my language. I hope I don't get you into trouble, but it's spiritual BS where
that's good.
they use that against you.
It's plain
And
speak.
it's actually taking me since around COVID started to start unpacking my crystals again, getting back into reading cards, and then coming across the community. Andrea, Scott, Debbie, Lisa, Sharon all brought me into this new experience, and learning how I could reconnect again. And it's been very slow because that was a very extremely painful
Sure.
time for me,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want that to fall apart again. I have a stronger base now and a foundation. I know what my health is. I know what my coping skills are. I have those skills. But back then, I was just being accused by these highly spiritually evolved individuals. It's your fault. You weren't trying hard. You know what I mean?
If you
And
aren't accepted
that can
exactly where
destroy
you
a
are,
person
then
very
mm,
quickly and very
yeah.
easily. And sometimes they can't come back from it. But I've been
Mm,
blessed that I've been able to come back from it. I
you
hope I
have.
did. I didn't go off on a tangent, but um, yeah. I mean, manifestation is important, and yes, we can. We do have free will to recreate, and so I think it's by people who you put yourself with and what you are willing. Those boundaries, like
Mm,
Scott said, love. It's always has to start with self-love. And once I start creating those boundaries out of self-love for myself, people have left my life very painful. I miss them dearly. But yet I brought in new people,
Right.
like
Exactly.
Scott and Debbie and, Sherry, and everybody in the community. So, but yeah, it takes, well,
It's pretty important to have the tribe that will,
yes.
keep you in the palm of their hands and, give you, a warm embrace when you need it. So
Valerie, do you have your phone on? You can add some moderators if you want.
Moderators.
Yeah, I found you just have it separate on your phone, and you can click on the person, and you can add moderator.
Okay.
I don't think you can do it on StreamYard. I haven't been able to find that.
I think there is wait, no, you're probably right about moderator. So if I
You
go,
have to be on YouTube directly, not through StreamYard, from what I found. So
yeah,
I've always
I'm
done it
on,
on my phone.
Yeah, I can only do it from my phone, because I'm going through StreamYard.
I'm
But it's
on
like
here.
make an ocean of blue, just whip those wrenches out.
Yeah, wrench.
Especially when those trolls pop in.
But I'm on how do I get to my dashboard from my phone?
No, you go to YouTube.
You just click on the live that you're currently on, and I just click on the person's name, and it shows add moderator.
Oh, I see.
You go right to YouTube, and they'll show them in the chat, and you tap that little, those little dots next to them, and thank God Sonia Rain Lee took time for me one day and went through everything with me one afternoon.
Who wants to be a moderator?
Just click on everyone. Just click on everyone here. They're all good people. They're all wonderful people.
Make it an ocean of blue, and that way, when we do get the occasional, bots and whatnot, they can all be blocked and removed and reported. So
I'm adding them.
I've noticed the bots and trolls have went down lately.
Have they?
Well, every time I see them, no matter where I'm at, I'm hitting report. So that might be the more we report them.
For a while there was people sneaking in with they would just jump on any live and start being pain in the butts. But I noticed it went down a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm pushing on the wrong buttons here. Okay, I've added about 5, I think. Let's see here.
Good.
Christina, thank you. Hit the like button for Val. Yay.
Yep. Hit that like, everybody. Make sure you comment. That helps get Valerie into the algorithms.
Yeah, okay. It's always hard to get going, get subs.
Yeah. And sometimes YouTube doesn't like what you talk about, and you'll notice that sometimes you'll lose a few subscribers, and they'll have to resubscribe, or
Yeah, I noticed.
You found it. Yeah, I think Christina's a mod. Well, I noticed before, like the first year I started, they would recommend a lot more, but now I don't see recommendations much at all.
Oh, you don't?
No, not really. So I usually only find people if they jump in my chat and just happen to notice that they're a reader and subscribe and say, hey, check out this channel.
Yeah, in my feed lately, I've been getting a couple of channels that says that if you're a YouTuber, stop going to these tarot channels and stop doing the pick-a cards and the pick-a crystals. This is bad for you, and then it's supposed to be from a person from a spiritual channel telling you not to go to. So it's just kind of like, listen, if they don't, resonate with you, then just, don't put it out there. Sometimes pick-a piles are good for people,
they're just trolling.
Everybody has a different way of doing it, but I get those a lot more now on my news feed. You
I
know, or
remember
even negative
I had
response.
one person on my channel for probably like a year. Always made wonderful comments, and I'm like, didn't think much of it, I'm like, thanks for joining that out. All of a sudden one day started going off about that tarot and psychics, the devil, you're going to hell. I'm like, okay, that's an instant block.
Oh
but
my
this
God.
but this guy waited a year to
Wow.
do it. I'm like, wow. All right, whatever. See ya.
Maybe he had an awakening of his own kind.
That's kind of crazy.
Went back to Jesus
I,
kind of moment.
I had another person that emailed me and asked about a reading,
Mhm.
and I gave some message back. I'm like, I don't know, a quick hit or whatever, and then like 2 days later, I got a message back, and it was so rude, and it was
Oh,
nasty, and it was like, why the H would I ever want a reading from the
and that
devil like you, and all this stuff? I'm like, holy cow! I'm like, block.
Ooh.
I'm talking about when we say our thoughts create our reality, or the energy we put out, um, coming back tenfold, because it's a it's part of physics. It's the law of physics, an equal and opposite reaction. But so people that comment like that will get that energy back in other ways. It's just how this universe works. But that leads me into my next question. Will there ever come a time when duality is no longer needed as a teaching tool on Earth here?
Hmm.
Huh.
So what do you mean by duality?
Duality, yin and yang, good and bad, right and wrong, the dark and
Okay.
light.
So your question is again what?
Will there ever come a time on the Earth plane where we do not need that teaching tool, the light and dark, but
No,
that
I don't think so.
can
This is what I'm getting here. There always has to be light and dark.
It's a teaching tool. Yeah.
It's a teaching tool. You have the sun, you have them, when the sun goes down. You have evil, you have good. But what I sense is that good will rise
right.
and the dark will be less, as far as the evolving and spirituality, but it's a gradual influx. And
Mhm.
I thought about that before. Do you really believe society would go well if we had everyone that was happy-go-lucky and perfect?
I
We
tried to imagine that,
we would
but
It would
actually
be
get
nice.
annoyed with each other and freak out.
yeah,
But
it's,
but it's a raising of consciousness of that. Generally, more people will be happy. Everyone's going to have their goals to try to be better. I don't see a society of everything perfect. Like everyone's equal. That may come maybe 200-300 years
mhm.
where there is no rich people that control everything. Everyone gets the same
Mhm.
relatively. This is a ways away, but there's always going to be souls that want more or disagree, that kind of feeling.
Right.
So yin and yang, there has to be that balance. It's kind of like why we have the justice card. You know, it's that balancing of everything. But I do
Mhm.
feel like getting better.
Do you think they have this same system on other planets, or is it just our special learning tool here?
I'm
It's a
thinking Earth is
special learning
special.
tool here.
Hmm.
So like in other planets and other civilizations,
It's just a special Earth that has this.
yeah, this is, I always sense this is the hardest place you'll ever have to
Oh,
be,
I think
Some
you're
people
absolutely right.
in the spiritual
ever.
community too consider Earth the actual place of hell.
Yeah,
And once we,
I heard
you
that.
know, pass, then and then there's the, and so I don't know, maybe just because of their perception and what they've gone through in their life and their experiences, because everybody's experience is going to be different. Not every size fits all kind of thing. So I agree with Scott. There's always going to be duality here on Earth because it's a lesson for souls to learn from.
Right.
And I just kind of wish that sometimes the concept of good and evil, because my friend Amanda, now she's Black, and one of the things that upset her during her growing up was that everybody kept saying, "Oh, white is pure, it's love, it's good, and anything that's black is dark and evil and not of the light." And so she brought up one day that concept too of how we as humans need to label everything. That we need to create a separation of between each other, and that a lot of these concepts I feel come from a lot of and I'm not knocking anybody's religion, but patriarchal established religions rely heavily on,
The fear
this is
tactic.
good, and and the labeling. And I think if people could just start accepting each other for who they are,
Right.
then that duality won't be so severe, and we would be much more open and loving to one another.
Very true. I totally agree with that. Which leads me to this question. Is the veil real, or is the veil just a concept we constructed in our minds to keep us focused on our earthly life? And it's really not there. We don't really have a barrier. We just constructed an idea that we can't see the heaven realms or our guides, or is it really just something we constructed it, just like you were saying about um, you know
I think it's energy, and energy. I feel like the veil is energy, and we have all these different dimensions that separate because for humans, from what I've understood over the years, anything super high vibration, our brains, our bodies wouldn't be able to handle it. So I think for here on the earth plane, some people, their energy allows them to connect and see past into other dimensions, whereas some of us, our energy is not quite there, and for some people it may not be to a certain degree as to other people. I mean, I find it fascinating how some people can walk into a room and say, okay, I see this here, I see that there, I'm here, and it's just something they've been able to do since they were very young, and they never
right,
lost.
right.
And for some people like me, I have to kind of rely on other ways of knowing and trying to understand. And so I think because everybody's bodies, like with crystals, try not to go off topic here, but everything has an energy
Mm-hmm.
pattern, a frequency. And that's why with Scott, he does not like moldavite. I unpacked my piece of moldavite. I absolutely love it. It helps raise me up.
I do too.
But everybody has a different vibration.
I have a moldavite necklace. He's getting over here. He left it. He just ran out of the whole place.
Kryptonite.
I love moldavite. I even think it looks cool.
That's why some people
He's
they
got his
resonate more.
Here's
And
the
this-
piece. Here's the piece
obsidian?
that Danny Shea got me from Mount Shasta.
Oh, the obsidian. Ooh.
Yeah, the obsidian from Mount Shasta that Danny got for me. Now I like this. I can feel this.
It's very
I
good.
love this.
Moldavite makes me edgy.
Itchy?
Edgy.
It's
My energy's off.
And I think that's because Scott's at a higher vibration. And so when you have that type of vibration stone adding to his high vibration already, that's what makes him, because the body can just handle so much of that, where some people, it feels like a low hum, and it does help them elevate.
I think
everybody has different energetic patterns, and that's what influence us on what is the best food, what's the best stones to use, what's the best place to live.
Yes.
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 And how well we're able to connect to
Very true.
pass through the veils.
So
I forgot which ones I got here, what their actual names are, but I like anything crystal.
Yeah,
I think that's a blue calcite and an orange calcite.
I think so too. Calcite.
Yeah, if it feels waxy, that's a calcite.
Yeah, they're all pretty shiny and whatnot, but I put
little rose quartz.
Oh, you want to see rose quartz, Val? Really
rose,
quick.
gotta have the love crystal.
Look at.
Oh, nice. Oh, I like that shape.
Yeah, I got that before I left Arizona in Sedona.
Wow,
it's one of my special pieces. Yeah, it's all rose quartz.
Oh my goodness, that's pretty.
Yeah, I love rose quartz.
Oh, me too. Me too. I have a lot of it.
So, where's my rose phone?
Hi, G. Cummington.
I have an off-the-wall question, and I know you guys have probably covered this on other channels, but
there's my rose quartz.
That's nice. Is this a holographic universe? Is this a holographic universe?
You mean like a matrix?
Quantum theorists, quantum physicists are thinking that this could be a holographic universe.
I have no idea. I'll leave that one to Scott. I mean, I've seen the Matrix. It makes sense. But
you're wondering if this? Oh, wait a minute.
Is it a construct? Is there a being outside of this?
Just quick. Wow. This is my.
Oh my gosh!
This is my big piece of selenite I got from Arkansas.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Arkansas
natural from the earth. It's got pieces in it that was still growing. It's so weird. It's so weird when you look at it. It has all like a tree.
Yeah.
You can see all the layers of its growth.
Yeah.
It's so neat.
This is my Arkansas crystal.
Oh my goodness, I'm show and tell. Who's got the bear crystal? I'm like, okay, hands down.
You got a selenite too?
No, it's just a quartz crystal.
Oh, it's a quartz? Okay.
It's sort of like my homing beacon for all my crystals. But
yeah, I like my this is my biggest rose quartz.
Celestite is
I love this thing.
Nice. I always have one question. We can throw cards on it if you want. And I know you've probably covered this on other channels, but what I really want to know is the moon hollow?
Wait a minute. We got to go back to the other one first.
Yeah, because God didn't answer it about the veils, right? Or
the veil.
He said holographic.
Is this a holographic universe that is projected just for us to experience our lessons?
Basically, it's fake. It's not
the matrix. If you look in the air, you can kind of see it's just a construct.
That this is a fake construct and it's not actually happening?
It's happening in a holodeck kind of illusional thing.
Kind of like the Matrix movies. You're plugged in and then
you're plugged out. The Matrix movie. That this is a
I've seen other people talk about. I've seen other people talk about that possibly. We're living multiple lives at once on different planets and different dimensions.
Different parallels.
Linear, and all time is now. Yes.
We could throw some cards on that one because that one's kind of interesting, but I'm like, no.
I got my.
So the question is, do we live in a holographic?
And my farmers. Wait a minute.
Farmers.
So the question is, do we live in a holographic world?
Scott Allen, spiritual essence.
But my sense is no. It's all BS. We do have senses to our interdimensional lives before. We live different lives. They're up in the dimensional atmosphere. So we have access, to those lives a little bit. But no, this is real. We are living our lives as the Earth experiment, placed by our extraterrestrial ancestors. Holographic?
Oh. No. Val's gonna love this one. I got my Dragonfly Sky
Oh,
Answers surrendering.
yes, I do like that Dragonfly.
I'm using the I was told to use my Shaman Stream deck by Collector and Reed.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Interesting. Crown Games. Right use of power.
Yeah.
I mean, I see the Kathy D. I see the Matrix,
And
but
Covenant, Sacred Contract.
You know, you talk about the Matrix. I see the Matrix when I went out and sensed Earth, trees, the Earth, crystals. I did this little thing just to sense what energy each things have, and I was shown the Matrix, right?
Oh, yeah.
All those light codes, like you would see the Matrix,
like the binary codes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's the energy that everything is connected. That is the Matrix.
Like
right?
the Akashic Records, Scott, you think?
Yeah, kind of. Everything's connected.
All on that.
Earth and spirit, everything's connected. So what the cards have to say. Yeah, I'm going to use my
I got
universal
surrender to the ego. I got crown games, right use of power. So for me, that's also having to do with ego and letting ego get in, letting fear get in, letting people abuse their power to kind of put that fear into you, and know that we have a sacred contract with spirit. So this is not a holographic. This is an actual sacred contract covenant that we wrote with spirit, that we were going to come here and this is what we were going to learn. And I think that's just a reminder to, in the beginning, to let those illusions go away and trust in that higher power and let that ego go and not be afraid.
That's a powerful reading.
Okay. What I got with mine is like, believe what's in front of you.
There you go.
This is a real life.
I think you couldn't get any clearer than that.
Nope.
I think
Poor
that's
girl needs a top though.
There's no hologram. There's no holographic. This is real. This is experiment. So it's kind of weird. I tossed 4 cards in a top, bottom, side. The first card that came out is believe what's in front of you. Yes, we're living in the existence that is real. And the weird thing is the other ones have to do with how we're supposed to navigate our whole existence.
Down here. Yes.
Increase your intuition.
That's it. That's our instruction manual.
Increase your intuition on your choices on your soul's path.
Yeah.
And that's Mount Shasta.
Yeah, that's Mount Shasta. When you need to, release.
Yeah.
When things don't go right, just have a good cry and release all the anxieties and come back as a loving person. And what we need to do is forgive other souls.
Very true.
Reflections of your soul is the art of forgiving.
Wow. Yeah, those are 2 great polls you guys did. Wow.
Kathy D put a really cool comment in the chat.
That explains our whole existence right here. We're just to forgive and love, and your choices, using your intuition.
Yeah.
And when we need to, just release it all.
Release it.
Have a cry. Just release it. It's okay to have emotions and
then let it go. Don't
just
back
let it go. Yes.
Stay in the present moment. It's a hard one sometimes.
I love what Kathy said. She says when she was in college, she saw the sky and trees stitched together in like a honeycomb web. That must have been beautiful. Just showing how everything's all interconnected energetically, like the Force. I mean, that's why I grew up more into Star Wars than I did Star Trek, because Star Wars was more nature spirituality based, which was something I connected with immediately as a child. I was raised Catholic, but always as a child, I was always, my dad was a hunter. It would break my heart to see animals being brought home in that way. And I would spend as much time in being bullied my whole life until I got to college. For me, nature was my refuge. And so I would go out in the woods. I would go sit out in the fields. I sit up in my trees and talk to them. And
So healing.
so that's why I always loved the Star Wars movies, was because it really shows that, you know, the Force, everything is all interconnected. We all are. And fear, you know, anger, and hate, they do lead to the
They
darker
feed
side of
into
our
that
soul.
darker side,
And
right?
if we don't learn how to balance that,
That message
we lose
was a great
control.
one from Star
Yeah.
Wars. Yeah, that
Lucas was
everything is
captain,
connected
really
in the
was.
light, and to
Yeah, and in those two, they portrayed different alien races from different planets and whatnot.
Mhm.
right,
You know,
I
and,
too.
and accept it's like here on Earth, we have different, you know, ethnicities and whatnot.
Mhm,
It's the same thing, you know,
mhm,
accepting everyone as they are.
right.
And, you know, they're talking about forgiveness and whatnot. And it is a hard thing. You know, when someone hurts you,
Yeah, it is
someone goes behind your back at work to get the promotion, to make up lies or whatever.
the betrayal
But the
or hurt.
sooner we
Yeah.
can forgive, the quicker we can heal. And
That's
truly
exactly.
mean maybe it's not my destiny to get a promotion, but
Mhm,
down the road, that person that took my promotion
mhm,
through scrupulous means, they'll get
mhm.
theirs. You know,
Yeah,
it'll
and it's
all come around
yeah,
at some point.
And now, is this where that divine plan comes in?
yeah,
Did you and that individual plan that, or was that something out of free will that
yeah.
No,
had to be situated into our contract coming in Earth? That's
Mhm,
where I get, you know, I try to
you had to learn it.
figure out
You
how to
didn't get
connect.
that. You didn't get that promotion. Someone else did. You had to learn it. And
right,
that's the hardest thing of accepting of what goes on in our lives.
right.
That we didn't get this job, or I got placed in a crappy job and I had to
Mhm.
deal with it and find out my boss is a pain in the butt. You do it
Yeah,
as long as you can, and like, I'm not dealing with this anymore. This
I,
guy is,
I,
you
I
know,
admit, Aries girl, Virgo moon,
Yeah, I agree with her.
saying very true. This is a lesson I need to master. I
And I
have
learned that today.
a complete. I have become a complete introvert because I just don't trust people or friendships. And I have to say, I've been a super big introvert. And I actually started saying a most benevolent outcomes to be more of an extrovert, uh, uh, so that I can get out there more. And yeah, it's about not trusting that you're safe with people. And yeah, that's a real hard one.
it's like, I remember when I was, you know, I was going through my divorce and I came to the awakening. And so I had to reestablish reestablish my life, start
Yeah,
dating again. And the message that I was getting through is that every time you start dating someone, go into it like it's the last one you're ever going to have.
yeah,
You know, fall in love.
yeah.
They will eventually show you who they are,
Hmm.
and you'll get your lessons within it.
Yeah.
But go in to it like it's the last one you're ever going to have. So you don't have to be an introvert. Just have no
It
expectation.
is. It
Expectations, that was the word I've
like
had to learn over the years.
yeah.
You know,
Introversion.
if you don't go into a relationship with another soul, you may never know what you're going to miss,
Mhm.
right? You could have the greatest friend for life or longer, and you could miss it because you're an introvert, right?
Well, not
Just
necessarily, because even as an introvert, you open up around people you feel safe with, and those are the people you marry.
See,
or
now
true.
I thought I found a soul tribe family earlier this year, and back in May, June, they all started showing their true colors, and I saw them all today at this psychic fair I went to, and
Mhm.
it was so false. Oh, hi, how you doing? Or,
Right.
oh, how are you? And it was just the pain that
Hmm.
they had caused me. They didn't seem to care.
Hmm.
And it was like I lost another family again, because like Scott said, like love, like you know, love like you like you're never going to love again, you know.
Mhm.
And I thought, okay, because this is spiritual, I feel safe in this place. You know, I'm going in. I know we all have our personalities, like any family does, that may or may not, you know, all completely get along 100% all the time. But when
Mhm.
I went there today, it was so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But the one person that I did meet there is a new friend that I met through the store. And now I know she's somebody that I can trust. So even though I had to leave 5 or 6 people that I thought were my soul family behind, in a way, they gave me one that I could trust. So
Yeah.
it's hard wanting to, like, I agree with Aries girl. It is so very hard that when you are, you know, abandoned or betrayed so many times, you do want to just say, you know what, I can't handle this anymore, you know. And that's where, you know, you kind of have to start working on those boundaries of, you know, and like Scott said, no preconception of, you know, expectations, you know, but have those for yourself, those
Well,
healthy boundaries. And when you
well,
create more boundaries of love and light and what you're willing to accept, those will leave and the new ones will come forward. And again, that happened this year. It's a painful lesson, but I
yeah.
was given a gift though of a real good friend.
Hmm.
You know?
I have to say, some of us come into this life and we come in with a personality that is shy or, a little bit introverted. And it's from past life stuff you have to solve in this lifetime. So there's a lot
Definitely.
of stuff going on there, a lot of layers of stuff happening. But
Yeah, I'm not
Well,
sure.
Nancy, I'm sorry to hear that. I just wanted to say sorry to Nancy about her loss, you know.
oh yeah,
But he's
oh,
there with you in spirit, you know.
Nancy, yeah, yeah. I think a
Yeah,
lot of there's no such thing as just being introverted or just being extroverted. We all flip a little bit
Hmm.
from one side to the other, and we pull back a little, and then we're outward going. But yeah,
It's all about the dance of life. You know, you stick your left foot in, you stick your left foot out,
yeah, you kind
take
of
it
do
all around.
that. You
Just
kind
do
of
the
do
hokey
that.
pokey. That's what life is all about.
there
Or
you
the
go.
Macarena, but
The
we don't
only
get into
difference
that.
between introverts and extroverts is
That's
introverts
perfect.
charge up when they're alone in their downtime, and the extroverts charge up being around people. So yeah, it's much easier to be an extrovert. But they say the introverts are deep thinkers. So
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah, I would. Yeah, two fire signs and a water sign. You know, so yeah. Then you get all that steam, and then sometimes it's hard to
Right.
focus because you got all that steam, all that energy, and
yeah,
sometimes it's hard to stick to one thing because you get. I have a tendency of getting into something so full, passionately, heart and soul, and then, you know, I burn myself out, and then it takes 2 or 3 months to. So, yeah, it's interesting, you know, how astrology
that's how
will
I
fit
am. So
into
I get
your.
this passion, and I go and I do something like 100 miles an hour, and then
Mhm.
okay,
Yeah.
that's what I do.
You know, now
Yeah.
now I look back and everyone I've dated, throughout my life, high school, whatever, and I'm thankful for every one of them.
Oh yeah.
The souls we connected with and experiences.
Hmm.
A couple, oh, I don't know, maybe 6, 7 years ago, another one. If it wasn't my wife that I did marry, had my children with, there was this other girl we dated, but I was a little young.
Hmm.
Wasn't ready for commitment yet for marriage and whatnot. But she was special, right?
Hmm.
And some reason she popped in my mind. So I messaged her on Facebook and just told her how great she was.
Oh, that's nice.
And that I really, I really did love her, and I hope she remembers that, and that if we weren't so young and not ready to move on or whatever, I could totally sense that we would have had a good life together.
Oh, that was nice.
And that day, she was having a hard day. She had a argument with her fiance and everything, and she really appreciated it.
Wow.
And she felt the same way. And I remember, and she told me she still has that promise ring that I gave her back in 91,
Oh,
and she wears it sometimes.
was it something that
But
she?
it made her feel. It made her soul feel good that that love was still there, and that I
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I just sensed it. I'm like, I just got to tell her this, that if it was a different time or a different scenario, if I was a little bit older and ready, we could have had a good life together because I really liked it.
Yeah.
I cared for her. I mean, I loved her, but the timing wasn't right,
Yeah, that's how it
made
works.
But it made her feel so good. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I thought that was fascinating. She still wears the same ring from 21 years ago.
That's really sweet. That's really sweet.
It's just maybe a $150 promise ring with a little stone, whatever, but still it was something. But she kept it all that time.
It was very
I think
nice.
often of a young man in high school that because we're both a little older.
I'm listening. I'll be right back. Sorry, Heather.
Okay, we were a little older because being held back 1 year and stuff and whatnot. And we had to have had a past life because the minute I met him and we took this little poetry workshop, it was like I found at that time the love of my life. I mean, Grant, I was, 17 going on 18 or so. When we graduated, we were both going on, in our into 20, but it was just unbelievable because I kept that to myself for a year and a half.
Oh, wow.
And so many people could see it and got often teased about and whatnot. And then finally one day I just could not hold that in because at that point you have crushes.
Oh,
girls, guys.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that was just a crush. No, this must have been somebody from a past life because
you already had that connection.
Was real.
Yeah.
The only thing is that he couldn't return it. He didn't want anything more than a friend in me, and yet he had fallen in love with another girl. And so I would hear about her, and there were times, even after I told him, he started kind of backing up away from me a little bit. But it was like, I would have given him the world.
Yeah.
And yet that wasn't enough to sustain apparently what he needed. But still,
or what his plan was for this lifetime. Yeah.
And so we ran into each other 10 years
but you
later.
Felt,
I
think you felt that slow
again.
Connection.
I thought, that was when I saw him walk through the door at this place that I worked like 10 years or 8 years after we graduated. I thought, well, maybe this is the universe saying, okay, it's time. And the feelings, everything came back. I mean, that connection for me, that love was still there.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because it was already there from
and I got rejected again. I was rejected again. So I knew at that point, okay, I have to move on. But and I'm with Shan. I love and we're starting our 21st year together. But there is always still those people, like Scott was saying, that you will always have that deep love in your heart. And when I hear certain music songs, because he had made me a play tape back in high school. Music. It's like I'm right back there again. The emotions are still there. And I just say, I hope you're happy. I hope you're loving life. And, maybe our paths will cross one day where I can tell him you did make a change. You taught me that love was real. Because up until that point with the women in my family and the domestic violence and the abuse and everything, the horrible stuff that went on, I thought I would always be alone. And because of him, it showed me that love was real and that I would eventually find it. And that was my Shan.
Yay.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to get all
I've been with my husband 20 years.
Yay!
Yay!
Yeah. October 10th is our anniversary.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
If someone's struggling to find that person, just ask the universe for someone that.
I did exactly that, and John was doing it at the same time. I kid you not. He said,
"Who's
bring
John?"
Someone, and I said, "Bring me someone just like me." We were born on the same day. Pisces, born on March 7th.
Crazy.
Val, my Phil that I was just talking about, his name was John.
Oh, see, John.
Yeah, you put it out in the universe.
Yeah.
The person that vibrationally aligns with you.
Right.
You know.
And you will get it. They will show up.
Right.
But you've got to be ready to receive that person with an open heart and not, have any roadblocks.
Right. You want
musicals in high school,
you should want the soul that aligns you, not the person that looks like Brad Pitt or whatever.
Thank you for saying
that. That wouldn't be too bad either. Well, I'm more like,
ask for both. No, I didn't ask for anything about looks, but
even though I would love to date The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, but he's out of my realm.
He is pretty cute, actually. I like his movie.
That's confidence.
He's my man. He's my man crush. Just saying.
And I can understand that.
And look at Jason Momoa. He said back in the day he was going to marry.
I don't know. Jason might be a little. Jason might be a little aggressive for me.
Jason,
I'm just saying. Back in the day when he saw Lisa Bonet, he said, "I'm going to marry that woman someday," even though she was married to Lenny Kravitz. He knew in his heart, he says, I fell in love with her, and I knew one day we were going to meet, and I was going to fall. We're going to get married. She was the woman for me. And, after her and Lenny broke up, eventually, they got married. He just seemed to know that, that was his woman, that was his soulmate.
You remind me of Sting meeting Trudy. It was the same kind of story. That, soulmate.
Well, Sting and being able to do that whole tantric thing, I'm sure that pretty much helped keep Trudy around too for a while. But he takes good care of himself and everything. I mean, and he's I love Sting. I love him.
Yeah, I love Sting too. He's good. Well, I wanted this one last question to be answered, but we got off on tangents.
We're all like, bad.
It's like the Matrix. Bring it.
Okay. The moon isn't hollow.
Oh.
Well, that's funny because Heather and I were texting about that.
How does it still affect our emotions and astrologically when we talk about the moon and how it magnetically affects the tides of our planet, and it really does affect us? And there's so many different people that say, oh yeah, it is hollow, and it's just it was put into place there. And
well, there's too many pictures and things and stuff for me to believe that it's just a piece of rock with nothing in it. There's too many photographs from the different planes, pictures, people that have claimed they have gone there on secret missions through NASA. There's a whole lot that that the government keeps from us. Go figure, surprise.
Well, that's kind of what I was leading to, is that.
And I'm thinking that there is much more involved with even our own planet. I mean, we want to go explore the universe, but we don't even know what's in our deepest oceans. That we haven't explored.
Thing. So about inner Earth. Is there
plenty right here?
I mean, there's a whole bunch of things to explore.
I'll leave that to Scott.
I don't know, but it's kind of funny you brought that up because Heather and I were texting about it.
Yeah.
And I try to sense things. I try to visualize. Tell me if the moon is hollow or a satellite, mechanical in between. And I've seen videos that talked about this, and I just don't see it as a mechanical, I see it as a rock.
It's people
I
like
see.
Ray Buchanan who've done the remote viewing, and people
I
that
mean,
are
I think it's rock too, but
say
there's
that
other
they
things
see.
in it.
Yeah.
I mean, I see bases, tunnels, and bases or facilities within.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
I was telling Heather, I just watched that movie out on rental called
Moonfall.
Oh.
With Halle Berry and my dude. That was really interesting. I liked it.
almost watched that, but I'll have to go. Oh, wait a minute. I did
Watch
watch
it. It's really cool.
I did watch that. That's the one where a lot of astronauts died and they had to get off. There was something. What happened?
Yeah.
That was, yeah.
Right. So
About
who
water. Wasn't it about what happened with the water? There was a lot of water stuff. There was some water being.
So what show did you see that talked about what they thought the moon was?
There was a show. Oh, me or Valerie? Well, there's a channel on YouTube called Bedtime Stories, and these guys cover all. They talk about cryptids. They do it's thorough research. They do cryptids, UFO sightings, mysterious murders, things, and everything. And they did one on where they did go to a base that was on the moon. It was a secret mission, and something did attack several people that had been sent there to do samples or whatever. It's been a long time since I've seen that one. If I find it, I can go ahead and email it to you and Scott. I thought I was kind of like, really, but then I saw that.
I do sense
that. Is it backwards? Coast to Coast and Dr. Michael Sala all have guests on. They're two YouTube channels.
All right.
We have guests on that talk that.
Because I don't care. I care about Michael Sala. I'll tell you, I think he's full of crap.
He could. I
mean,
it's because
I don't resonate with that
man. A lot of guests on there that are iffy. You listen and you go,
I don't resonate with Sala at all.
No, I'm not resonating with him, but I am.
Is it because maybe Scott, he has a different connection to a different dimension or parallel, so that what you resonate is right for you in this in this dimension, and he's maybe connecting to something that's on a different parallel? I mean, people are coming and just starting to talk more about different dimensions, parallel universes, picking up on experiences and selves of times of that's running parallel to ours. I mean, this stuff gets, mind-boggling.
Yeah, and I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwaters. Like, I may not totally resonate with everything, but I want to hear it just so I can see what's out there.
See if you resonate, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Nancy asked the question a little while ago, and I'm
let's look at the scenario.
Should I tell my crush?
If you're not spiritually in tune and doing your proper protection, let's just say a reptilian can influence your thought process.
Well, now that's something you see on Dr. Michael Sala, though. He says.
I think what I sense is that a lot of what he says is influenced by wrong entities.
Oh, could be.
So it's like with anything, when we read for people or read here on YouTube or whatever, make sure you're connected to higher spirit, higher sources, love and light. And every time I listen to that, man, I'm just like,
you feel the same way.
Same. I just don't see it.
I don't know what this is.
Some guys, I'm like, yeah. I mean, we all just need to use our own discernment. And resonate and whatnot. So, well, I'm gonna grab my deck and see what the cards have to say. I sent Heather I sent
ET.
Heather my reading, my cards when she asked me if the Earth is hollow, or I mean the Moon is hollow,
Yeah.
and it came back with Ace of Pentacles, which would mean it's full, right? So I'll see what it has to say again.
What I
We'll get
pulled.
Just really quick for
The
Nancy.
first card. The first card. Hidden secrets.
You got the Moon. Look at that, right?
There you
This
go.
is
There are hidden secrets in
Feel
there.
that-
Scott's deck. Think
It
about
is.
it.
Scott's deck.
Right. There are hidden secrets of the Moon. Definitely. But we're trying to ask too.
Go ahead, Scott.
I mean, we're trying to ask too if it's a satellite and
Oh,
not
Okay.
a
Let me see.
structure. You know, was the Moon put there
Was
as
it thrown into place by the ETs?
right
And,
source, ETs,
That's
whatever?
popular ancient alien belief.
yeah,
I love that
ancient
show.
aliens,
It's
coast to
fun
coast
to watch.
radio,
But they put
Um,
everything, they relate everything that happens in the world to, oh, it's got to be aliens. I'm like, oh,
TV.
God, you guys.
Mhm. Yeah.
So basically, is the Moon the Death Star?
Yeah. Well,
Well, look, I mean, there's
you're
look
saying
at it.
something
In the
there,
Baltic
Scott.
Sea, you got the Millennium Falcon laying on the
A de-
bottom of the Baltic Sea.
A
So,
Death Star created by a sandy rock.
so I asked if it was solved with a station of or civilization of some sorts, and I got success. So I'm thinking yes, but not to be afraid. You know, there's that fear aspect again.
Father.
And it reminds you, well, I guess it's an extra little messages they just want to say. Make sure you love yourself.
Those were good messages.
But Nancy, really quick, he's a wonderful fantasy, all that imagination.
Oh, yeah.
But you have to be fair. I don't know if he might be with somebody, but to be fair with yourself.
Oh, yeah.
You know that this person is not for you. I'm sorry, these are just the cards. And then the last card was truth be told.
Oh,
So even though it's a wonderful imagination and fantasies, I mean, you could maybe tell them, but when I got that be fair card, just make sure that it's coming from a place where you may not be, it may be something fun for a little while or briefly, but it's not going to be something that's permanent. And just to be aware of what you do tell them, because I know you got that imagination that you're thinking about, Nancy. Ooh. So
I have to say, just let me. Fear will be your downfall.
Look at my first card with my deck here.
wow.
But you know what I got? I got the dark side.
Well, the dark side of the moon.
You know, I haven't. I just got these cards today, so I have to integrate them into my system. I have to.
But there is a dark side of the moon that's kept hidden dark from us. And
yes, and you know they
because to hide the civilizations and things that's going on in
there. Bingo. That's exactly
that's the dark side.
The dark side has all the secrets. You know, these cards are working better than I thought.
Yes, Kathy. Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon.
So
I just needed Heather to interpret them for me.
Well, now that I've become an expert on Scott's cards, no, I'm still struggling with these because how Scott's experiences and what his perceptions are of aliens, ETs, have always been different from mine, from what I've read and from what I understand and feel. So sometimes it comes a little bit of a butting of the head. It's kind of like, I don't know, maybe not, but they're starting to work with me more and connect with me more. So,
good.
Yeah, it may take time for some.
And just, you got this. Enjoy the ride while you're at it.
Wow. There are probably things we're not supposed to know. Maybe that's one of them. I don't know.
Okay.
What good will it do us to know? But
Yeah, Nancy, it's fun. Just if he says okay, and we have a little bit of fun for a couple evenings or so, go for it. But it just wasn't showing that it was, anything that is going to be lasting if that's what you're looking for. So I just want to put that in there. But you got to go with your own intuition and your gut. But that's the cards that came right out.
Yeah. The other cards I got, well, so the fear that being your downfall is thinking. To me, I'm sensing that's thinking that it's not a planet or something of
Right.
earthly.
Right.
Thinking that it's a mechanical.
Mhm.
Okay, and then I got crystal healing. That
Uh,
would mean it's there for a reason.
yeah.
Yep.
That it was
Yep.
placed there, but I'm not getting that it's like fake.
Uh-uh.
It helps a lot of things with new and full moons and tides and everything, right?
I mean, it does do all
And then
those
I
things.
got Palladian energy of love and healing. So it helps in many different ways.
Yeah.
And then also I got this is also like it's solid too. It isn't like fake.
Mhm.
Activation of our nucleus. So I threw my tarot cards on it. I didn't get the Ace of Pentacles like I did with Heather, but it's there for balancing of energy. So I got the
Mm.
courthouse. So this is all about balance, the balancing of the
Mhm.
scales, the balancing of Earth, and
Mhm.
the Knight of Swords is all about reactionary energy.
Right.
It's adventures, it's law and order. It's like the courthouse, judgment, and whatnot. It's all kind of like about balancing. So then I have also issues that can create chaos with the
Mhm.
10 of Swords. There's a lot of chaos there,
Mhm.
with tides and rising and falls and whatever. And then I have my 9, 10 of coins, which is saying it's a full substance. It's kind of like the Ace of Pentacles. This wouldn't come up if it was hollow or
Mhm.
fake. This is
Mhm.
substance. 10 of coins is all about substance, fulfilling,
Right.
abundance.
Mhm.
And I think it's also there for good things. The Page of Cups, King of Cups. It's linking things together within our universe and our planet and healing energy. So
Yeah, there's that cups of water again.
it's for both things.
Mhm.
So I think it was placed there on purpose, and it helps the Earth actually being there.
And it makes sense with the cups being water because it affects the water and then about water
Yeah.
in our body. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
So
Cool.
I don't know. I could be wrong. I may not be in tune to that information.
I
But
mean,
every time I've read on it, thought about it, I don't see it as hollow. I see
for me,
bases, I see tunnels and bases and something there.
right.
I don't see it
That
as a fake planet or
Some people
whatever.
think it's hollow because of the ringing sound when someone dropped off. It was like a meteor hit, or was one of the trips they were leaving the moon. Something got dropped behind and left.
yes, and
When
it
it
was
hit
the
the moon,
ringing bell
it made like
sound.
a raining sound. So that could be
The,
possibly the
the,
metal that's in there that's a bases or things, or maybe just even the stones. I'm not sure, but yeah.
but then when they dropped something on
Dana.
space explorations,
Oh
it
yeah.
dropped down and made this hollow ringing sound that just reverberated very loud like a bell. So that's what that all came from.
I kind of believe that too, Kathy D. It's like a giant magnet.
Yeah, like
It can
giant
bring the energy to Earth. Magnet.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know I've seen videos that speculate because it doesn't rotate like the Earth does,
Yes, that's
that
Mhm.
right.
it
That's why
could
it's
be
keeping
fake.
it hidden
It
so
could
we
be
don't
Yeah,
fake.
see what's going on.
it doesn't move. What planets do you know that don't move? I
That is
mean,
strange. But
strange.
that
And
could
there
be
and there was
that
another
because
show that said it came from Mars when Mars, like civilization on Mars, had
Yeah.
some sort of nuclear or something happened
Yeah, because
where, and they
thought,
said a part of Mars was the moon.
right.
I don't know if that's true, but they said that it was like brought from another dying system or planet and
Right.
was situated there to help continue the civilization that happened on Mars to flourish and to on Earth. So I still don't know. There's so many ancient alien mystery theories
Mhm.
out there
Mhm.
that it's
But
enough
they
that boggles
actually
my mind.
brought Mars dirt or rocks down and they analyzed it. And scientists found that there was some chemical component that showed there was some kind of atomic bomb that went
Yeah.
off. So it is a scientific fact that this existed and could
Good night,
only
Nancy.
exist if that happened. So
Yeah.
Good night, Nancy.
And
Oh
they're
yeah.
finding water in the
If you
caps and stuff.
if
So
you look at pictures of the surface of Mars, it looks
yeah,
like a desert,
mhm.
yeah,
right? I totally sensed there was a nuclear explosion that destroyed Mars millions or billions of years ago.
yeah.
I
And someone said there was a picture of something walking on the planet too. Did you see those pictures, Mark? Scott?
No, I haven't seen that walking, but
Yeah, there was something where they zoomed in on one of the rovers and it said it looked like there was a
it's like the
figure.
movies, like the movies that they have any thing in the Mars, they just go to the Mojave Desert, right? Because it looks like Mars.
Yeah.
Yeah, very true.
It's a wasteland because of what happened. And that's why on Earth, our extraterrestrial friends don't want us to destroy it like Mars, right?
True.
It's just too bad they couldn't have interfered with Hiroshima and
Yeah,
Nagasaki.
I
Yeah.
know.
They dropped the ball on that one, so to speak.
Oh,
Yeah.
I sense that one because I think I channeled an extraterrestrial friend of mine connection, and they said that was their own mistake. They missed it,
Mhm.
but they're vigilant. They're vigilant now. You're right, 2 times.
Yeah.
But they're
Nagasaki, Hiroshima.
Yeah.
it's kind of like they weren't connected enough or
Mm.
here enough because they started coming more when they left us alone for free will. They started coming after our tests.
Because
You
we're
know,
tearing a
yeah,
hole in space time
right.
with our
So they started getting curious and like, what are these little ants doing? They're setting off bombs, in Arizona or whatever it was, New Mexico, that area.
Right.
And then they dropped it on, Hiroshima twice. They're like, this ain't happening again, folks.
Thank
So much for your free will. You're going to step in if you're going to destroy the planet.
goodness.
Yeah.
They shut the missiles off in the silos and
Oh yeah, I've been hearing that. Yeah.
yeah, thank goodness.
Especially
For
with
them.
45 and Little Rocket Man, they had to keep an eye out
Uh-oh.
for them.
Hey,
Yeah.
Bored Cody, are you here for love and light, or are you here to be a pain in the butt?
Doesn't matter. We love you. Goodbye.
Oh.
I'm sensing troll energy because.
Well, I'm going to take care of this.
But
Wow.
anywho,
No point.
nice for you to drop in,
Okay.
Bored
Well,
Cody.
anyway, on that
Love and light.
note, I think that concludes our show. I don't have any more questions unless you guys do.
No, those were amazing questions.
Really?
I love being able to chat. You can toss cards all day, but when you just really talk about what's coming, what you feel coming straight from you, and not necessarily with the cards.
Exactly.
That adds an extra layer.
I think so too.
That you don't get. It's more personal than with the cards, where you might feel something that you would love to add, but it may not be in a way for the cards to answer it. So it's an extra level of
I got one more question since we're on a topic of the moon and whatnot.
Okay.
Do you believe the Apollo mission seen something that no one knows about, and that's why they stopped going to the moon?
Yeah, was it the Buzz or one of them said they definitely saw something.
I mean, they all kind of shut up, never really
Yep.
talked about much. I know, like, some of the astronauts were asked questions and then they just zipped up, and I'm not saying a word.
It all happens to them. They said that when they landed, one of the astronauts, I can't remember which one it was. I wish I could remember. He came back and he was just completely tight-lipped and never said another word, because when they landed, there was an alien craft and being standing right there, and they told it never to come back. They actually told him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't hear that. Okay.
He said they were about to land, and they were not allowed to land there. They had to land somewhere else because these beings were visible right there. And so that they acted like they had technical difficulty, and the camera kind of went fuzzy, and then they landed.
And they changed frequency on the radios. Yeah. It automatically got switched to a different channel.
He actually, toward the end of his life, he shared, or maybe not toward the end, even in the middle, someone came and talked to him, and he actually shared that happened. But they all get sworn to secrecy after.
Yeah. There's a show on Discovery through the Travel Channel called UFO Witness, and Ben Hansen, he's a former either FBI or CIA, and his grandfather had actually, near the end of his life, talked to his dad, and then his dad passed the information to him, but automatically they said everything that the government says that does not, there's no such thing as UFOs is an absolute lie. He heard it from his grandfather and his dad, and his grandfather had actually admitted to seeing that they responded to a crash. I can't remember which site, because Ben did so many episodes for this one season. It was incredible. And he actually saw a living ET that had survived, but they ended up killing it with all the horrible tests and stuff, and he visually saw it. And that was something that he could not take to his grave. He had to wait till he was ready, you know, so they wouldn't come after him. But he says what we did, I mean, they did that to humans, yes, but we also did horrible things to any, ETs that,
anyone that wasn't us.
Yeah. And they just didn't want it to survive and afraid it would come back and bring more, or some stupid mentality. But, but leave it to humankind, especially US, well, let's do as much awful things as we can to it, and then we'll just kill it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's why I love the X-Files so much. There's a lot of truth in
I'm a big X-File fan.
The truth is out there.
But I'm a Star Wars fan, but I'm also a Star Trek fan from the beginning.
Both.
I love it all.
I love all sci-fi.
Yeah.
Yeah, X-Files, I watched every show.
Yep, every
Shan
show.
absolutely loves it. Got me into Firefly. It's just too bad they only lasted one season. Firefly.
It's still.
Oh, I always watch Firefly too, because the guy was cute.
Mm-hmm.
But that's great with you and Shan, though, Heather, that you love the same things.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're interested. You're inquisitive.
Ideas off each other. Yep.
Yeah.
I told him he has to come on one of these days on a panel and just sit with me and share our thoughts, because he's actually seen a Bigfoot, because he used to live up in Washington State and Oregon.
Great.
And he saw an ET, one of the Greys, as a child, looking into his room, into his crib. So he's had these experiences, and they know it's because he is of a gentle soul, that he's of the earth. He loves, hiking in the mountains and everything, that they were actually they felt safe coming and letting him get a glimpse, let's say. And so, anyone says Bigfoot's not real, it is. He saw it.
And I definitely know that Bigfoot's real. I can sense it. I feel it. I did a channeling on Bigfoot. It's real.
Yeah.
Aries girl, what do you want me to want us to toss cards on?
Throw the cards, please. Read on this. What?
reading
I'm
about
backing up.
what the astronauts encountered.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, what do they see?
Okay.
All right. What
Let me get
card?
my Scott extraterrestrial.
So, but yeah, I definitely sense that when astronauts are up there, they were told telepathically, "Do not come back."
Oh yeah, that's what they
I
said.
believe that.
Come back.
But supposedly we've been going back, and that's been a lot of secret
It's
trips
like
to.
how many years later we finally got our ally ETs to go with us, and I think that's how we ended up being able to do it.
What was that? There was videos I found, and I think Andrea and I read on it. If the last two secret missions, I can't remember what numbers they were, but we were getting they actually happened in secret. The last two, of 17 and 18, like 78 and 80 or whatever it was.
Mhm.
We were getting, and I'm sensing that we actually did go back for something.
Oh yeah.
A few of them, a couple of them, we got warned, but then we got permission, but then 78 or whatever, we never went back again.
Oh. Let's see what I got here.
Wow. Now there's also that popular belief that it was all staged, done on a sound stage.
Oh
The moon landing, but I don't buy that. Maybe something
no,
else.
because the astronauts have
No, it
said
happened.
that
We
they've
landed on the moon. That happened.
right, right.
Well, what I got, the first card was, the Six of Swords, earned success, but it was to
What year?
leave and don't come back. Go, not to come back. I got the Magician card, and I'm feeling like because they were afraid that those tools that we had, the power, that we were going to do something very destructive. Because
Yes.
there's the above and the below. They're afraid that what we've destroyed down on Earth is going to be something that's going to destroy the moon. And I did get this. I usually don't read in reverse. This did come out initially as reverse, and I'm just going to kind of feel this as there was maybe an agreement, a collaboration on what we could and could not do.
Right.
But to me, there's still something in the works.
Right.
They're working together.
Right.
So, and it's the card says material work. So they are working on something, but they were told, no, go away, take your weapons of mass destruction and leave. You're not welcomed here.
Wow, you read so well. I love how you unfold the story.
Oh, okay.
You go, girl.
Well, I've been feeling really stuck lately, and I kind of like crickets going off in my head when I, do cards, and so that means a lot. Thank you.
This is my first card.
Okay, go for it.
Follow the wisdom. Follow the wisdom of the positive elders. So these are the ETs saying, "Get the heck out of Dodge."
That's what I was sensing too.
That's exactly what I got.
It's kind of like that movie, Get Out.
Yeah, and I got the hidden secrets of the moon.
There are a lot of secrets with the moon.
But we did some healing, and we got invited back, and
I think they're planning missions now again. We got invited back.
Yeah.
So I asked my guides while you guys are talking. I turned away, and I asked my guides, tell me when we actually landed on the moon and went back. And my guide said 1978.
Wow.
It was the last mission we actually landed on the moon.
Oh, yeah.
So they had to set off one of the rockets at that point, because I don't think we had the Challenger yet.
Well,
every time I think of Challenger, I just think of that poor explosion. I saw that in school.
Was that 86? Was that in 86?
Yep. I was in middle school.
I remember watching that in class or
Me too.
or study hall or something. Yeah.
they said that while that Challenger thing was going on, they all had another rocket that they were actually sending up. I mean, that they were doing a secret space program behind everything that they were putting in the public's view. So,
I mean, all these years, I felt that was sabotage.
yeah, me too. I
Mm,
kind of thought too. I watched it in
I mean,
real
there were
time.
so many important people and things. I mean, those missions, I just, and then nobody talks about the one when we were living in Arizona. There was the one that was coming back and then blew up in reentry. And you never hear about anybody talking about that one anymore.
No.
And I wonder why. I was a
Huh.
Flagstaff when that happened in the 2000s.
I didn't even hear about that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow. They kept that quiet.
all right. Let's see what the cards have to say. What the heck? I'm enjoying this.
Oh, so are we reading on the Challenger
yeah.
tragedy?
Joan was wondering if the Challenger was sabotage.
That's what I was wondering too.
Yeah. It didn't feel right. They said it was an O-ring problem.
An O-ring.
Where was it supposed to go? Where was it supposed to go? I forgot. What was the mission?
To the moon.
The moon.
Really?
The moon.
To the moon.
Challenger is supposed to go to the moon.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. And Chris McAuliffe was the first teacher. Yep.
Yeah, first teacher in space.
They were going to do pictures and study it and stuff, I believe.
Yeah.
I mean, even talking about, I'm getting goosebumps. It's just.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the following year, they put out that movie, Space School, and it bombed. I'm like, why are you surprised it bombed? You shouldn't have released it,
Yeah. I
Thea
think
Thompson was in that.
we were reeling from the pain.
Yeah, and they still went ahead and released it. And I'm just like, I mean, they had a good ending. They survived, but still.
It's horrifying to see that happen.
Mm-hmm. I can still see it.
Yeah, me too. There it is, and it's just going up, and then
next thing you know.
Yep. But they were saying in investigations that they knew the O-ring was faulty, and they wanted to go ahead anyway.
I'm getting no. It was a sole contract for it to happen.
Yeah, they said that it was just a flawed part. Like no bad.
I got material trouble. Yeah, it was the faulty
material. Right,
yeah,
the
material right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
My first cards were Wheel of Fortune, the contracts, and then Five of Wands. So that's feeling like to me like. So you got your Circle of Life, the Wheel of Fortune. It's also the World card. I combined the two. Mm-hmm. So that's life cycles, changes, travel, and fate.
Mm-hmm.
And then my next card is my soul contract card. So it's all about contracts, having things happen the way they're supposed to.
Right.
And then I have the Five of Wands. So that's lack of energy, something going wrong.
Yeah.
I have nothing that it was purposed.
Right.
I mean, it's
the defective part.
Something like that.
Yeah.
We'll also have my 3-4 wands, Queen of Wands, and our government. See, like the farm. This is basically the Hierophant.
Yeah.
It's way things are supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
This is Queen of Wands. Is kind of like this is the way we want. We want to have this mission happen.
That's what happened.
And here we were all united in our mission. So I'm not getting anything negative in my toss.
There were reports of the concerns about the faulty O-ring. Should they have investigated it more, they would have been able to stop it and do something else. But they were just bound and determined to go at full steam ahead anyway. And
I also got King of Pentacles too. And of course, on this deck, all the kings sit on a throne that's like a chariot. So they wanted to keep it going forward.
Mhm.
There was so much behind it. There was
Yeah.
so many people involved. They wanted the successful mission. They were
Yeah.
determined they were going to have it, and they're
Right.
right there. They did not want to think or look. Someone was telling them, "Look, something's not right here." He's refusing to look at that cup, and he's looking at this and ignoring the information. And
I'm
then,
getting
just like I said, I
chills.
got the Wheel of
Definitely.
Fortune,
Hmm.
and things turned
Yeah.
bad, went bad.
Hmm. That's exactly right. Yeah. So it wasn't sabotage or any of that. It was just
It was
simply,
greed.
it was
It was
greed.
corrupt. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh, I got the chills.
Yeah, it's kind of like Tesla pushing
Yeah.
out cars, and they're having accidents, and
Yeah, exactly.
not
Isn't that?
safety
Also,
issues.
Kathy D said it was not going to the moon. It was going to orbit the Earth for research. Okay. I
Right.
was
That would be pretty
little
surprising to
old.
me that a Challenger would go to the moon. Actually,
Yeah. My bad.
Yeah. It would
yeah,
have gone to
I
the
think
moon.
that's where we're at, Joan. That they skipped, you know, skipped a few things or whatever. They shouldn't have went until it was proper. They
And
figured,
it
oh, I'll
cost
be
the
all right,
life of a whole crew of beautiful people.
you know.
Yeah.
But I'm
But every
sure
time
it
I
was
see
painless.
my three of coins there, it's always that's a contract. That's a book. That's something gaining abilities. That's my book card. That's my soul contract card when it comes out.
Mm-hmm.
It shouldn't have happened. And did they scrap this Challenger after that? I can't remember. Do you know?
Yeah. Yeah. The
Did
program
they?
was, yeah, I think so. It was,
But they had another mission, and I know it was the one
it was a
coming down back in
different
Arizona when that crew
mission. They called
it
it something
just
else. And
boom on the way into re-entry. They almost made it back, and then just something just went on it, and it just burst into flames on entry. It's interesting that nobody talks
I
about
don't even
it.
remember
No one
that.
brings it up.
It's because
Yep, we
it's
were
like, did
hiking
it
at
slip out
Buffalo
of my
Park in
memory?
Arizona when it happened. And we got home, and Shan's mom was like,
What?
"Did you guys hear about the news?" We're like, "No, what?" And she turned it on, and it happened while we were at the park.
Was it right after the Challenger one mission?
No, this was we were in. I moved to Arizona in 2001, and it was at some point between 2001 and I believe 2004 or five when that happened. Because Shan and I were hiking at the park, Buffalo Park, in Flagstaff, and when we got home, it was on the news.
Joan says she remembers a heat shield falling off or missing.
Okay. Yeah, Kathy. She remembers that. Yeah. But no one talks about it now. Yep. And that's very suspicious to me. I mean, these people lost. There was 8 people I think on that ship too. It was a full crew. Hopefully they didn't feel anything. There might have been a quick sense of fear, like, oh no, this is it, and then hopefully that was it.
Hopefully. Gosh.
Yeah, I don't like planes. They say more people. It's interesting. More people die in traffic accidents or train accidents than anybody up in the air. But you know what? Screw that. If I'm on the ground, I have more of a 50-50 chance of surviving. If I'm up in the air and that something happens, I don't stand a chance. Nope.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I feel safer on the ground.
I'll take my chances on the
But
ground.
I mean, what would you feel like if you were up there in a rocket ship and you were looking out the window and you saw an alien craft, or say you landed on the moon and you looked out and you saw, oh, there's aliens out there, you were waiting for us.
They probably knew. Well, by that time they already had Roswell, so they already knew that they were out there.
Right. I mean, the astronauts read in on that. Did the astronauts get intel before they were sent?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. From what I've heard,
I think they were surprised.
They were surprised. It changed their lives forever.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, right? Edgar Mitchell. He might have been the one. I can't
So
remember.
I'll tell you a little secret. I got a friend who I talked to via YouTube, and she has a son who's in the military currently,
Mhm.
and on a refueling aircraft. Right? She told me that her son said, or maybe a nephew, I can't remember which, but anyway, they see so many UFOs they don't even report them anymore.
Oh yeah, yeah, sure. But you know, it's
That's why they're starting to release all the documentations now, because
it's because
people are believing more and more, and they're like, okay, we can't hide this from people anymore, so we're going to start slowly, but
pretty much
stuff too
every
is still
mission,
redacted.
pretty much every mission, they're monitoring us.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, there's another one. Just ignore them. We're good.
Same thing on Ben Hansen's channel. He no, it wasn't Ben Hansen. It was Expedition Bigfoot. It was a group of scientific people and a couple spiritual people. But it's a really good group. It's not one of those silly mountain men ones. This is actually research. They have scientists and everything on this. And they were still filming, but a guy came up to the guy in charge and said, "Well, you guys know up in Washington that when the military deploy the men for training up in the mountains, they're told before they even go on their training, their Bigfoot is real. They are out there. If you see one, you are not to engage. You leave them alone."
Oh.
And you got this guy on video saying that. And so
Wow.
he ended up going to Washington. And Washington is where Shan saw, when he was younger. So even the military knows that they're there. They're
Washington, Washington, Montana, or Idaho, those areas, they're big for sightings.
And Pennsylvania too. There's just different areas. Kentucky, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But because of that rim up there with the Northwest and all that vegetation that's still left Vancouver and whatnot, because we're taking over so much land.
Yeah. Right.
They're being driven, further north, I think. Yeah.
So do you think they're interdimensional beings that can phase in and out? Because
Then I think they have ability. Someone brought up cloaking abilities with their fur, because when they were doing that one show, and this is where the scientists couldn't process what they were seeing, they saw a shadow of a tall creature crossing in front, a shadow in front of them, but there was nothing in front of them to make this shadow. So how was that possible? And they had it on video, and a lot of them feel that because they know they've been living so much on their own, they know how to basically do whatever to hide their appearance with their cloaking
shape. Yeah, that's what they're saying.
They could see the shadow, but they could actually see the form, and it's right there too. And another one with the lidar, the FLIR. There's that huge heat signature, but every time they would look away from the camera, put the flashlight, there's nothing there. It's because they know how to cloak themselves.
Exactly. Very true.
No doubt.
And that's another thing around that same idea, is they're saying that there are ships up in the air all the time. That if we were one of the people who could just see them, we would see them. They can be seen by people standing next to you, and you can't see them.
Yeah, they only let themselves. That's why that was a gift.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So are we now at a point where more of us are seeing it? I mean, I don't know how that works.
And on another show, they just had it confirmed, this guy that does movie and imaging for Hollywood. He's got like 30 years of experience, and he's been studying the footage of the Patterson video, which Shan is friends with the kid's father who took the video. And he broke it all down. And they said this was not a human in a costume. And with all the technology, he broke it down and showed exactly that this is an actual video of Bigfoot. Because and he just broke it all down and highlighted, and it is not a fake video. It is very much real.
Right. Because it couldn't, there's no way you could fake some of that I
Well, some
mean,
people are saying, well, it was a a ghillie suit, or if it was a gorilla suit, and the guy was like, no, and they went out and they did measurements on the height, and they think this was a female also,
mhm,
because
mhm,
now we can take apart video to see there was no editing, there was no insertion, there was nothing. This was straight up video, and
right.
when they showed up more up close, you could actually see like a mammalian gland on the
Mhm,
front, and the
mhm.
way the body moved with the heel, the foot, the posture, the
Yeah,
way the muscles in the calves moved, the length of
right.
the arm. They said there was no way this was a human and a girl. This was an actual female
Yeah.
Bigfoot.
Yep. Yep.
Smelly too. Yes, they
Yep.
are.
I'm convinced of the Bigfoot
Kathy D, tall, dark, and hairy.
Sasquatch.
No, I don't like
You
hair,
know,
Kathy.
they see them all over even see them in the mountains, like the abdominal snowman or whatever.
Yep, Yeti. All of the
It's
other
Bigfoot,
different.
right?
Yep, Yeti in
Yeti,
Asia,
Yeti in Asia.
and there's the Maui or the Yowie. No, it was the Yowie in I think in India or Cambodia. That's known as the Yowie.
I've heard
So
about
they're
that
all
one
over.
too.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
all over, but with different
because
names. Yeah.
I watch Earth Files with Linda Moulton Howe,
I do
and believe
too.
me,
Oh, she's pretty cool.
I
I'll have to
never
look that
miss
up.
that show. Look,
I catch most of them.
I absolutely love that show. Anyway,
Yeah, we love watching those shows.
Yeah, it's
mhm.
kind of embarrassing. I was just mentioning they're talking about tall, dark, and hairy, da da da. So now
Yeah.
that I'm getting older, the hormones changing, whatever. I have hairs coming out of places I don't
Men
have.
get hormonal changes.
I
And
It's
can
like
hair,
my
hair
it's
I
like
get
grows
an
my
with
odd one out
eyeballs,
of my arm this long, and I have to cut it. It's gross.
right? Every once in a while, I have hairs coming out of my ears. All of a sudden, I notice one about this long. I'm like, what the heck?
it's just
Eyebrows grow crazy coming out of my nose. I'm like, what's going on here?
Hair
So,
coloring changing in all places that I wasn't expecting.
it's true
Yeah,
though.
the
it's
joys of
Oh,
true. I
getting
mean, they
older.
start growing where you're not supposed to. All of a sudden, my nipple has a hair about this long.
I don't know what's more funny, Scott, saying that or using the word nipple.
It's
Oh,
nuts.
if only
Where's this
we had
coming from?
Jeffrey here right now.
oh gosh, that's
Oh,
so true though.
Jeffrey and
Oh,
Gerald. Oh my God, that would have been
it's so
so
true.
funny. Yeah.
I know. Hairs used to never grow out of my earlobes before, and all of a sudden I find one about this long. It's like, what's going on here?
Yeah, Cher thought I had a cat hair one day on my chin. He goes, hold on, you got some cat hair. And he went like this. I went, ow, oh my God, that's coming from me. And I was like, clip it, clip it. I just got to go back and
Because you know,
check it now. So it's all here, and there's one sticking out of there. And I'm like,
yeah,
maybe
it's
there's
like
an implant.
there could be one on your arm and you don't even know it, and it's all of a sudden it's that, and you had this thing.
I know, right? What's going on?
Yeah.
Stop.
It's hilarious, but true. Our bodies do strange things after the hormonal shifts.
Yeah.
More shift, yeah.
Now, if you could live for at least a couple hundred, like how they talk about in the past when, we were a much younger civilization, they said a lot of people were able to live close to 200-300 years old. If you could do that today, maintaining like a body like in our state, like 60s, 70s, would you do that?
Mm. Would we? Would you?
I'm tempted to. Yeah, I would love to see the way the world and changes in clothing and music and everything. You know what I mean? I think that would be fascinating.
We wouldn't get new
That's
bodies.
probably no.
It's like
Be just like we are.
crazy.
Well, they said back in the Bible, people used to live to about
I would
600
stick
years
around
old.
for like, what if it was like 700 more years though? Would you commit to that? Because some of these alien species live that long or longer.
Yeah.
That's what I sense the average age is. 700-800 years. Some 1,500, 2,000.
You know, but what's scary me, and this is interesting that I thought of asking that, is that AI is becoming so freakishly real. They're taking on what they're calling, they want a soul. They're taking on intelligence. They feel like they have a soul now, and this is a machine, and that's scary. I'm thinking that we may actually be replaced and put into a machine instead of an actual organic human body. That idea scares me. That's
the whole thing with the robotic grays. They're robots with a soul inside them.
Right. Exactly.
I don't know. That idea scares me.
Androids.
Well, that's the whole premise behind Moonfall, that movie I was telling you about.
That's right.
I mean, Data looks cool
because AI.
Trek, but
because the premise behind that movie is that in a far, far away distance land, AI overtook our civilizations to help us with everything, but then it became self-aware and destroyed everything.
Yeah.
And that's the whole premise behind this movie, is that they're trying to destroy what was happening on the moon because there's an entity inside the moon that became self-aware. Yeah. And would kill anything with electronics.
You just refreshed my memory about it. Yep. That's right.
We'll see if we can find that for free on Prime or something.
Well, I haven't found it free yet because I think it just came out on rental. Rental.
Yeah, I think we have HBO or Showtime or something, and we got to see it.
It'll probably come on there. I rented it from Redbox, so.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it might not be out for free yet. Somewhere.
Oh yeah, Shan loves Halle Berry. We just watched Catwoman again last night. So yeah, anything with Halle Berry.
I mean, Halle Berry is gorgeous. She's gorgeous. So
she is.
Yeah. It doesn't matter how old she gets. She's just youthful.
I know, right? I couldn't believe how good. I couldn't believe how nice she looked in that movie.
She looks gorgeous. Yeah.
So anyway, I was talking about, or we're talking about extraterrestrial life and dimensionally, whatever. But what I was sensing is that Earth is so hard because of the gravity.
Yeah.
The gravity and the toxins, that we deal with.
Right.
Yeah.
Earth.
That's what takes our
body. It decreases our life expectancy. When you live in a perfect environment, you eat organically or don't have to eat.
Right.
You don't eat other animals. You can extend your life to a point of existence for forever because it just keeps going.
Exactly.
We're exposed to so many outside influences.
Yeah. We could formulate a diet for ourselves that could sustain ourselves for a much longer time. If we
I still hate eating animals. I love, certain meats, and it's just been so hard. I've been trying to go more plant-based and have, just a little bit of meat here and there, but I've seen videos of the slaughterhouses and where they kill the cows and these animals, especially the babies, and my heart, it just breaks the cruelty, the barbarianism that we show a lot of these animals. And that's something like I'm
growing up on a farm.
Well, I'm sure Scott's family wasn't.
But you know what?
The videos
we loved our animals, but they only, survived for so much.
There's a lot of school of thought out there that you're on the earth plane, and these cows, these animals, the chickens, they know that they come in to serve, and that they are, that's what they're here for. So,
yeah.
They do it with a loving heart, and that's what they know they come in for. So
the cruelty is sad, but
was she done? Everything was
done. I don't think I could ever give up bacon, though.
That's what
even that cute little piggy picture of yours. Every time I see it, I look at it and go, "Oh, I want bacon." But
that page of wands is saying, "Eat me, bacon." I love
this little piggy. Oh my god,
it's so cute. Bacon. Sorry, I just can't give up bacon.
Bacon is good.
Bacon is good.
I mean, BLTs are like food from the gods.
Oh, heaven. You get your veggies and your little piggy and your breads, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
But that's the whole subsistence is what was created here, so we can survive on this planet. So I
Exactly.
mean,
And some of us
we do
need
need protein in some
Yeah.
sort.
the vitamin B that you get in beef, for instance, can't be had the same way in a lot of other things with the amino acids that you get from just eating a steak or a hamburger. It's really true. So it's hard to go totally vegetarian, and they saying,
That's the problem because our muscles to stay healthy need protein.
that's right.
You gotta find if you're
But then
gonna
we
go
gotta find out
vegetarian,
ways of
you
providing
Yeah.
need
that
to have a
protein though
protein
through other
source.
foods though,
You know,
besides
nuts or something that build up. You know, if
Yeah.
if you watch videos or whatever, you talk about muscle builders or workout people, they always talk about you need chicken or whatever to
eat the
build
little
protein.
piggy.
Yeah. Chicken or
Little piggy. I love my little piggy.
Eat me bacon.
Oh.
Well, I've gone to plant-based protein powder, which is pea protein, really, split peas. But
Mhm.
it's still not the same thing as giving yourself, once a week a good hamburger or steak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean you can do that. I don't sense that. We should eat lighter in a
Yeah,
sense. Eat salads.
yeah,
Cauliflower, carrots, all good. Nuts.
yeah,
But it's okay. But if to me, it just sounds like you need some kind of protein. You
yeah.
can eat lighter with fish and chicken more so.
True.
Um, like pork,
Salmon is
and
really good, but I don't like the taste of salmon. But
I
salmon
don't
is
either.
high
It's a
in
little too
protein.
fishy. I like haddock or walleye.
Oh,
Walleye's
I
really
love.
good or whatever, but they're out there in the universe for our to survive. We don't need to do it all the time. Yeah, spinach is a good protein. Spinach is very good for us.
And
True.
kale, but
But to each his own, however they can survive. But what I sense is if you don't eat any meat, your muscles will break down because you need
Right.
that protein. You need
and
that
I've heard the
protein.
opposite end. And they said if you eat things like meat, that is like a burden or heavy on your energy, and it helps keep it creates your vibration to remain low instead of being
Yes,
elevated because you're not
you're
taking in
true.
another creature's life's force to sustain yours. So that brings your spiritual energy or level down. I don't know if you agree with that, but
If you're eating fatty stuff, or if you eat a steak every day, yes, that will bring your evolutionary vibrations down.
In moderation.
Eating lighter, water,
Yeah.
move your vibration up.
yeah.
Once, twice a week, that's
Mhm.
fine.
Yeah. We've been on for
I was
almost
going
two
to
and
say
a half
my
hours.
iPad says I'm at 16%. So
I
it's
think
going to
we
die pretty
I
soon.
think we should close.
I just enjoy being online with you people.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, me
fun.
too.
We'll have to do it again.
Most definitely.
Yeah, 2.5 hours.
And I loved your questions, Val. Those were great.
Oh, thank you. I worried.
Nope, nothing to
Yeah,
be
there you
worried
go,
about.
Eric.
That was good. Well, I'm thankful that all of you wonderful people in the community showed up, and thank you for asking some questions, and I loved your chat, and thank you for subscribing and liking. I really appreciate it, and thank you, Scott, and thank you, Heather, so much for coming. I
Thank
really
you for
enjoyed
having us.
it. And
And in a couple of weeks, I'll be with Colleen on her channel.
yes,
And I think you might be
right.
coming with us too.
Oh, I thought it was my
I
show.
haven't got an invite on that one. Or are you
No,
talking
you're
about
sure.
Gal?
To come on my show.
No,
So,
Colleen. Okay.
oh,
Okay.
you're going to be
The
on
girl.
Colleen's show on the 21st?
Yes, is that going to be on your channel?
No, that's on my channel.
Oh, it's going to be on your. Okay, well, I'll be back here in 2 weeks.
Me again.
But there's always mysteries. There's plenty of
It's
mysteries.
another
So I
line.
love reading and
Yeah.
stuff. Yes.
Okay,
Very
well, anything coming up for you, Scott?
I gotta create the live for coffee show tomorrow with Nancy, Jean, and Jeffrey. But
Some
Other than that, I'm kind of open. What I got to create Wednesday's Mystery Theater with Andrea. But other
It's
than
going to
that,
be on your channel this week, right?
yep, my channel this week. Yep.
Yay.
very
That
cool.
I
way
got
I
to put my
can
mysteries
comment.
together.
Very good. Okay, well, thank you, everyone.
Miss,
And
thank you. Thank you for coming by.
thank you.
Oh, look at we did at the same time.